It's mailbag time here. Mitchell Renz. You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. This video was recorded live on Monday, so if anything changes, just please keep that in mind. The first question is coming in here from Karith. Hopefully I pronounced that one right. What grade would you give the Seahawks overall this offseason based on their new draft additions and free agency additions up until now, excluding the Russell Wilson trade? I was going to say, excluding the Russell Wilson trade, I'd probably give them a C. I don't know if they did anything excellent in the draft. I don't know if they've done anything excellent in free agency. It is good that they extended DK Metcalf, but you're asking me to exclude the biggest thing that happened to the Seahawks this offseason. And if you include the Russell Wilson trade, I'm sorry, it's an F, because you go from being a playoff caliber team to, I believe now most people, myself included, would probably put Seattle in the bottom 5 teams in the NFL. What up, True Lord? Do you think Drake Jackson would be good for week 1 of the regular season, the 49ers? You know, you're always hoping that players can rebound quick. I will say this. Shout out to NFL coaches that literally do not reveal anything whatsoever. I don't have a great gauge on his overall health, but if he starts practicing within 2 weeks of that start time, you're going to hope that he's at least doing that. But if you're still working on the sideline, it is kind of a little bit of a coin flip. Let's go to the RC Plane Builder. Will Matt Ryan win a Super Bowl with the Colts before he calls it a career? And how many more seasons will Brady play before he retires for good this time? I don't think Matt Ryan ends up winning a Super Bowl with Indianapolis, but I do think that Colts team is a team to be reckoned with. They haven't looked good thus far in the preseason. I know, only one game. But I do think Matt Ryan is an upgrade over Carson Wentz, and if Carson Wentz doesn't choke, the Colts probably go to the playoffs last season. So they are going to be a little bit better, but the AFC is tougher. And for Tom Brady, I'll be honest, I'm going to give him one more year. He retired for a reason. I do understand that he's got some off-the-field issues right now, but he's 45 years old. We'll see what ends up happening, but I'm going to say one more year for Tom Brady. When you talk about the preseason, y'all, who's impressed you the most? If you want to throw in a team, go for it. You want to throw in a player, go for it. Personally, when I thought of this question, I was designing it more to be player-focused, but let me know, who has impressed you the most in the preseason so far? Next question coming in here is from Sneaky Sam. I think Desmond Ridder is already clearly better than Mariota. Should he start at quarterback? Thanks. I mean, long-term, I do think Desmond Ridder is going to be better than Mariota. However, he's had a lot of injuries. The only reason why I'll say go with Mariota for the season is because I don't think the Atlanta Falcons are in win-now mode. And I always get worried when you throw quarterbacks to the Wolves, you ruin them for good. So if you think that Ridder is a long-term play, let Mariota play this season. Let Ridder learn the playbook. Let Ridder learn a little bit more, because I see a lot of times he's got the athletic tools, and when you see really good quarterbacks learn behind somebody like an Aaron Rodgers, like a Patrick Mahomes, it does end up going the right way. Now, again, he's not those two quarterbacks, but I think you can get better by sitting back 1 year and learning a little bit. What up, Elio? 11 wins over or under for the Patriots. I'm going under. Producer Jack's saying under as well, and he kind of is a little upset about it. I understand that Mac Jones has been put into the NFL Top 100. That's an absolute joke to me. But this team, you've seen a lot of reports that when they lost the amount of coaches they did this offseason to the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm curious to see what they look like, because that team on paper to me doesn't really do it. Instead of 11 wins, my over-under for New England would be a lot closer to 8 and not 11. What up, K-Wright? Do you think George Pickens overtakes Chase Claypool as the number 2 in that receiving corps this year? I don't know if he does it this season, but I do think George Pickens should be one of those really, really intriguing wide receivers. And he's big, he's physical. I do like Chase Claypool a lot. I think this really could go to who's the quarterback, right? If the quarterback is Kenny Pickett, I'll actually say there's a greater chance of that happening because there's less chemistry there, right? There's already chemistry between not Mitch Trubisky, but Mason Rudolph. If Trubisky walks in right away, then sure, maybe it's Trubisky and George Pickens. He's a really intriguing player. He's going to be physical, but also Chase Claypool, I think, is the more talented player. but there was also reports last season that Claypool either did his own thing or really wasn't as motivated as what coaches wanted during practice, which could rub some people the wrong way. Now, remember, guys, we are also over on Rumble, and if you're watching this live, shout out to y'all. We're going to be doing an exclusive segment over on Rumble, and if you just want more content, free and uncensored, sports, news, politics, whatever you're looking for, this is a growing platform. Please give us a follow at rumble.com/NFL Daily. Next question. Elijah Jordan, who is the quarterback 2 for the Vikings? You want to talk about an overreaction? The amount of love I've seen around Kellen Mond has been pretty spectacular. Do I think he was better than Sean Mannion against the Raiders? Yes, but Mannion wasn't great. But also Mond, I don't really think was that good either. He missed a wide, and I'm talking wide open, Amir Smith-Marset in the end zone. It was an athletic play. He was scrambling around, ends up slinging it, and he threw it like 15 yards over his receiver's head. The Mond upside is there. And I get that, Mike Zimmer wasn't that big of a fan of him last season. But to me, Mannion is the better fit in Kevin O'Connell's system. However, Sean Mannion is about as bland as it gets. And if you're looking for upside, maybe you roll the dice a little bit with Kellen Mond. Now, if you guys love the NFL, we got you covered. If you love the NBA, we got you covered. I don't know if you noticed, on Monday we released an AP poll. Why? Because college football season's right around the corner. The reason why we're called Chat Sports is because we like talking about sports. So turn on those notifications. That way you never miss a video. And seriously, hit that subscribe button. I promise you, we're going to keep you guys up to date. Let's go to RJ. You're next up here on our NFL Daily Mailbag. If Aaron Rodgers retires, does Jordan Love get the start at quarterback, or should they draft or get quarterback in free agency? I don't think Jordan Love's any good, so I will say you have to go with a different route. I can also understand if Green Bay decides to do with a little bit of a rebuild, maybe you decide to roll with Jordan Love. The issue is this. Why roll with Jordan Love because after the time Rodgers, let's say, retires, you're going to have to pay Jordan Love, I don't know, $9, $10, $11 million, maybe, right? He's the first-round quarterback. Or you just go into free agency, find somebody cheaper, or you go in the draft and find another quarterback. That's the route I would go if I was Green Bay. Super Yoshi 6616, should the Seahawks cut Pona Ford? No. I'm not going to cut Pona Ford. I know that there's some different takes out there on him personally, but or do you mean like from the 90 to 85? If you're talking a 90-85, absolutely not. Is he a bubble roster candidate? Sure, but I'm still going to say, no, I'm not going to cut Ford. What up, Lance Jug? Do you think Malik Willis is already better than Ryan Tannehill? Right now, no. I'm still going to say Ryan Tannehill gives you a better chance to win this season. And was Malik fun to watch? Yeah, absolutely. He was lighting it up, showing his athletic ability. He had, 38 rushing yards and a touchdown. It's just NFL teams are going to get tape on Malik, and, he's not going to be able to use his legs quite as much. But from a longevity standpoint, I do think Malik Willis is going to be better than Ryan Tannehill. But how about this, y'all? I'll ask you. If you had to pick a quarterback for Tennessee, who would you go with? Would you go with Tannehill? Or would you go with Malik Willis? Type RT for Ryan Tannehill or MW for Malik Willis. Junior Estrada, what up, my guy? Should the Patriots sign Will Fuller? I'm going to say no. I would figure out your wide receiver situation that you already have, because you have Nelson Aguilar, who I actually think is a big-time NFL trade candidate, because that hasn't worked out there. But you kind of already have your receiver core that you brought back. If I was Will Fuller, I would look to go to a team that is going to utilize my speed, going to utilize the deep threat, which I think the team that makes the most sense for Fuller right now is actually probably the Chicago Bears, because they have a ton of injuries at the wide receiver position, and Justin Fields is more of a deep thrower than Mac Jones. But for New England, I'm going to say no to Fuller. Also, though, if I'm a team looking at Will Fuller, I am going to make him sign a cheap contract. It can have a lot of incentives because that guy simply cannot stay healthy. Tristan, do you feel like Tom Brady will elevate Julio back to Pro Bowl form? He won't get the reps. Well, right now he's the wide receiver 3. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, but Tom Brady has been able to show that in the offense that he played in last season, when you lead the NFL in touchdowns, when you lead the league in yards, you can have a lot of value in that wide receiver 3. If Julio can stay healthy, that's all I need. I honestly believe Julio Jones, when fully healthy, like you hop into a time portal, you give me 2019 Julio Jones, that's a top 5 wide receiver. So if Julio's healthy, the answer is yes. If he's not healthy, I don't care who's at quarterback, you're not going to elevate him. Now, guys, if I missed your question, I'm sorry. Blame producer Jack, or you can hit me up on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. Seriously, the DMs are open, and I always love answering and just talking to you guys because that's what we try to do here at Chat Sports.